Alright guys, alright, so we just finished taking a break. Now after the break, I'm actually going to be testing out this GSXR 1000. Uh, so after riding that 750, check out this 1000, see how this one rides. Right off the bat, I could feel the weight a little bit more. It is a little bit more higher up. I am able still to flat foot on this bike. Let's check out how the gauge cluster looks. It pretty much just looks like a kind of a modern, I would say. Oh, wow. I didn't even have to hold the clutch to turn it on. I just pushed the button. Okay, that's different. So, definitely off the bat, tank pretty much looks a little bit smaller than the 750 a little bit, but still pretty big and wide. It feels, you'll feel a little bit more weight than the 750. Obviously, it's 1,000. What else I could say about it? The display in the front, it's almost like new, but yet kind of old. Like a little bit on the old tech. I wouldn't mind like an old LED display, something a little bit more colorful instead of this old style, digital kind of dot matrix style of numbering. Obviously, there is a lot of information displayed here. It does have like a little digital kind of RPM gauge here. When I put into the first gear, it didn't make such too much of a clunk when I did it. So it was a little bit more quieter than the 750. So far, it's actually very smooth. Getting my feet up on the peg is not it's not bad at all. Okay, so now that I'm going a little bit, I do feel a little bit more of the vibrations. We'll see once we get onto this light here. On the handlebars, you are at an aggressive, stance. I feel that the handlebars are more tucked in a little bit, towards your waistline, compared to the Gixxer. It wasn't like that. It was more sticking out, I guess, or just more, I don't know, more out. Okay, so let's see. Wow, definitely, it's smooth, but yet it vibrates. I don't know if that makes any sense, guys. But it's definitely you could feel the pull. I mean, I didn't go crazy all out on it. I'm not sure exactly on the mode it's set. It's probably set to beginner mode or whatnot. It's on mode, I believe, A, and it says SDMS. I'm not sure what all that stands for. I'm only on second gear, and holy cow, this thing has some power on second gear. Wow, this thing is insane. Just getting that little bit. I mean, I was feeling like if I didn't hold on, I'd probably just fall right off this bike. But definitely a lot more power. I'm not sure if I think it's set on full. Because if A on the 750 was full power mode, then that means that I'm on full power mode on this one. But wow, this thing, you could definitely, for sure, feel the difference on power-wise when you give it throttle. It does definitely throw you back. Suspension on this wise, it does feel stiffer than the 750. I do feel more of these bumps more than I did on the 750. I didn't feel it so much. Other than that, I actually don't feel. Well, we'll see when we start riding more on how I feel with the wrist and stuff. But other than that, seating position is nice. I feel that the seat though is a little bit more firmer. The seat on the 750 was actually soft, and this one I almost feel like you're sitting on a bench, like a picnic bench with a little bit of cushion. Put this down. This time I do have my earplugs in, so if I am talking loud, I'll probably just edit that in production, so I'm not yelling at you guys. But on the 750, when I rode that one, I did not have my earplugs in just because I wanted to get more of the experience and more of how the bike sounded. Then this one doesn't sound bad at all with having a stock exhaust. It actually sounds pretty good because right now it's actually screaming. So as soon as we go onto this little roadway, I'll give it some throttle. We'll hear how it sounds. On the 750, as soon as you started getting up on the rev range, it almost like the screaming kind of went away. and it was starting to quiet down. So let's see how it is on this bike. As soon as you let go of the throttle when you do engine braking, for sure this one jolts you a little bit forward more than the 750. On the 750 it wasn't that aggressive, I would say. Only in second gear. Oh yeah, this thing has way more power. Only on second gear. You definitely could get up and go on this bike for sure. As far as moving it to side to side, I'm not going to go too crazy, but I'll just do a little bit. It's pretty much almost like the 750. You do have to push it a little bit on the lean to get it to lean over. But I'm still only in second gear, and it's surprisingly doing really well. I don't have to change. We have to slow down anyway, so. And it's like I don't even have to use that much of the brakes, you know, the real brakes to slow down, because as soon as I let go of the throttle, I start slowing down tremendously. Really nice, smooth in the turn, but the bumps are really, you could feel it more. Wow, this thing got some crazy power. If you think that the 750 gave you a smile when you gave it throttle, the 1000 would sure keep your, like, implant the smile into your face for sure. And definitely you could feel the engine braking every time you let go of the throttle. It's like right away. It's like I don't even have to touch the brakes to slow down. Oh, now that I'm leaning more on it, it feels good when you lean on this one. But the suspension, holy cow, it's pretty rough. If it wasn't too gravelly on these roads, I probably could maybe lean it down a little bit more, but since there is gravel on these roads, you're gonna have to take it easy. And you can tell that the guy in the front who's leading the ride, he's actually gunning it pretty good, because they're a little behind on the rides, so, and it's already getting close to their lunchtime, so as you can see they're I would say really wanting to take their breaks. Other than that, the tires are gripping really well. I don't really feel any slippage or anything like that with these tires. But getting adjusted, or, you know, yeah, I would say adjusted to this throttle thing. Like I said, on the 750, it kind of, I guess it would just depend on what gear you're in. But when you let go of the throttle, it wasn't too jerky. I think, I would say, when letting go of the throttle, it didn't like jerk you forward. You know, like this one does. Like this one, you definitely could feel it. You'll definitely know that you're letting go of the throttle, because it kind of jerks you forward. Engine brake is a little bit more on this bike. Okay, so now I know that we have a little bit of a straight road coming up, so I'm going to do the same test I did before on gearing really high and seeing how the power band is. If it's more true on this bike about the whole fast bike not being able to go slow. So right now I'm on second gear, and wow, this is crazy. You can feel when you go into the next gear, it kind of jerks you forward just a little bit. So this is definitely a bike that you definitely want to, you know, take advantage of on the speed. I would say this is more, I think, more of where this bike, 1000, would feel more at home, is going a little bit more on the faster roads. or going a little bit more faster on. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go up all the way to number 6 gear, and then we'll see how it is on power band. Alright, we're all the way on 6. At 45. I think we have a curve coming up, so we'll probably be going a little bit slower. Then I'll give it a little bit of throttle and see how responsive it is and how the power throttle, I guess it is. So here's that slow curve. Alright, let's give it a little throttle. Oh, definitely no lag in power. Even if you're on 6th gear, you give it some throttle, you're going to be catching up with no problem whatsoever. You definitely don't need to downshift to get into a higher rev to get the power you need on this one. Non-existent. You could just give it throttle, you're going. Again, I don't feel any jerkiness on this bike, being on 6th gear and not going at 100 plus miles an hour. I'm at 40 and it feels perfectly fine. Same thing with the 750 when I was on 6th gear and I wasn't going, you know, any triple digits or anything, and I didn't feel no jerkiness on throttle. I know when you're on the R3 and you're going, if you're on 6th gear and you're not going that fast, when you give it throttle, you feel like it's choking, like it needs that power band to get up to gear. So on the R3, you definitely will feel that you have to go down some gears to get it up to speed, so it's not, you know, lagging in power and sounding like it wants to die. On this bike and on the 750, that's not the case. Man, with the way this bike is performing, it's almost like I want to drag some knee, but unfortunately I don't have that kind of pants for this demo ride. Right now the pants I'm wearing, they look like jeans, but they're actually the Alpine Stars riding jeans, and they have the Kevlar in them, and plus they have knee pads. Alright, so I guess that's kind of proving my theories about that whole fast bike driving slow thing. I mean, it's not the case at all. You can definitely ride these fast bikes slow. Now, do you really want to ride these fast bikes slow? You could. It's not saying that you can't. Obviously, I just proven to you guys you could. But for the most part, you probably don't want to. I mean, you definitely want to be riding these bikes fast, you know, if you can, and if, you know, if you're able to, of course, you know, with conditions permitting. You know, that's probably where you're going to get the most excitement and the most joy, probably, on doing so. Alright, so that was pretty fun. Alright, so now I'm going to be in this little open highway area here, and we'll give it some juice here and see how this thing performs. Like I said, I think I'm in the full mode here, guys, so. Alright, here we go. Wow, guys, that was amazing! You guys need to definitely test it out, these bikes. Holy cow, I was kind of almost afraid that I might pop a wheelie, but this thing was planted. No popping wheelies. Well, I guess you probably could if you knew how to. I don't know how to pop a wheelie, but I've only heard stories, so. But nope, this thing was definitely planted. And it felt awesome. Now, do you want to keep doing it all the time? That's up to you. Everyone rides differently. You ride your own ride. For me, if I want to, if I get a bike like this, doing something like that once in a while, you'll definitely see me doing something like that. Doing it all the time, maybe not. Once in a while, I probably would. Oh, I remember that road that's coming up. It's that bumpy road. We're going to see how that suspension is. I think it's going to be kind of a rough ride for sure. Now, as far as the exhaust note, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, right now it's kind of a little bit louder than the 750, but it's not quiet. It definitely screams for sure. It doesn't quiet down when it gets higher on the revs like the 750 does. So you definitely could hear a little bit more on this. So on this particular 1000, I would say it's not bad for being stock pipe. You probably could get it to scream like crazy if you get an aftermarket exhaust, slip-on or full exhaust. As far as the mirrors are a little bit more sportier. They have more of a shape to them. So you do have to do a little bit of moving the arm to see what's behind you. But other than that, they're not bad mirrors. They're actually pretty nice. Of course, I didn't get a chance to adjust them, but that's alright. And also, I didn't really get a chance to like really check out the modes on this bike. Let me see if I'm able to even go through them while riding. I can see TC, I'm guessing it's traction control 4. I think we'll just leave that as is. I don't want to mess with that. Oh, holy cow, I just felt the difference right there. I put it on 5 and I just got jerked forward. Definitely, you feel more of the bumps on this bike, on this 1000, than you did on the 750. It's a little bit more aggressive on the bumps. As far as my arms and back and legs are concerned, my legs are fine. My back, I don't really feel any discomfort. On the arms, it's still just being in this position is a little getting used to, really. And same thing with the 750, I would say. Other than that, the seat cushion wise, wow, you could really tell in my voice with these bumps. Seat wise on this bike is, like I said, a little bit more firmer. It's not the most comfortable seat, I would say, cushion wise. So that would be, I guess, the only negative I would say on comfort wise on the bike. Surprisingly, on third gear, it's pretty smooth. Let's go up a gear. You definitely, when you're changing gears on the 1000, you definitely feel it more than on the 750. And the 750 was more smoother transition. On the 1000, it's for sure you could feel it. You get jerked forward a little bit when you do change gears. So even though I'm on 6th gear now, I upshifted all the way just to see how I feel. Exhaust is a little bit more quieter, obviously, because now we're at a lower RPM. But still, not bad on the exhaust note. To prove that whole, fast bikes and not being able to do it, and I think it's a myth, because I was able to cruise at 6 and no problems. There was no jerking. When going that slow, it didn't sound like it wanted to die. When you needed to give it power, even though you're already in 6th gear, it had power. It didn't sound like it was gonna choke. I mean, you're obviously gonna get the most excitement, going faster, with these kind of bikes, than you would going slower. That's where the happiness comes into play. Alright guys, now we're almost there. I'm pressing on the front brakes on this bike, and they're very firm. And they definitely will stop you on a dime. Wow, these brakes are... If you go to a demo event and you step onto one of these kind of bikes and then you go back to your R3, you're going to be feeling a way different feeling going back to your R3, and then you're going to be feeling like your bike is definitely lacking power. So I mean, I obviously didn't come to Wisconsin on our bikes. We came in car because it was going to be such a long ride, and we just didn't want to ride really all the way up here. If it was, the event was a little bit more closer, then for sure we would ride to the event, but because it wasn't, we decided to drive, which I think would have been a better option for us. This GSXR 1000 was definitely an experience. Definitely plenty of power. If you guys are looking to upgrade to a 1000, I would say for sure go on a demo, guys. Test out the bike. If you have a dealership that will allow you to test out the bike, check them out. Go on the ride before you buy it. See if it's something for you. But other than that, this bike is really cool. Plenty of power. You will never be disappointed in power for sure on this 1000. So, yeah, there's my buddy Brian. And yeah, so there's the 1000 we just test drove. But damn, that exhaust is humongous. It's super massive. I didn't realize that's how big the muffler was. But yeah, if you guys do, I would definitely say put a slip on. That probably looks like a 20-pound exhaust right there. So yeah, so that's the 1000. Pretty good. I would just say that like it's a little bit more higher up. Suspension is a little bit more stiffer than the 750. You do feel just a little bit more weight than the 750. Power will keep you happy for a very long time. It has so much settings on the gauge cluster that obviously I wasn't able to go through. It does have ABS. You really honestly don't feel the ABS, I guess, unless you're in a panic situation and you were to slam the brakes, then you'll feel the ABS kicking in. But other than that, I would say that's a really good bike. All right, guys, I'm gonna take another break right now, and then I think the last bike that I'm actually thinking about testing out would be a GSXR 600, and then we'll kind of see, and I'll give you my take on that. All right, guys, and yeah, thanks for watching. So stay tuned for the next video.